Guys, trading is brutal. Most people never make it out of the beginner phase, and I was one of them until I finally figured it all out. I tried every strategy, every indicator, and every guru's advice, but nothing clicked until I stripped it all down to something simple, something real, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how I truly mastered trading. But real quick, before we hop into it, if you guys do find value in today's video, make sure to smash that like button as well as clicking that subscribe and that bell icon. It would mean the absolute world to me. But without further ado, let's hop into the video. So let's talk about the early days of my trading. If you're like me, you've probably been through this cycle. Jumping from strategy to strategy, MACD, RSI, moving averages, ICT, you name it, I tried it. I'd spend hours back testing, watching YouTube videos, tweaking entries and exits, but none of it gave me consistency. It all felt super random. One day green, the next day red. No confidence, no edge. Until I stopped focusing on the tools and started focusing on price itself. And then that's when I found what actually works for me. I live trade this strategy every day. I live trade every single day inside the Discord, sharing my screen, my exact entries and exits, and also periodically do it here on YouTube for free. This strategy has an 80+% win rate. It's simple to understand and simple to trade. So the strategy that I use is known as supply and demand. It's clean, it's logical, and it's rooted in how real market participants place their orders. So here's the idea behind supply and demand. Demand is where there are large unfilled buy orders, and supply is where there are large unfilled sell orders. And when price returns to these zones, the reaction is predictable because those orders are still sitting there. And these zones are very easy to identify, and here's how you do it. So in order to identify a demand zone, first what we want to identify is a large green candle within the market. Now, when plotting supply or demand, here are the time frames that I use. I will plot these on a weekly, daily, 4-hour, 3-hour, 2-hour, 1-hour, 45-minute, and a 30-minute time frame. So again, on all of those time frames, what I am looking for is one big green candle. Now, when you identify that big green candle, you then want to look one candle to the left. That one candle to the left has to be a small red candle in correspondence to the green candle. If you identify a small red candle in correspondence to a large green candle, that is then going to become your demand zone. So you are going to mark that entire red candle. Now, ideally, what we want to watch is the upper red wick and then the open of that red candle for a bounce. Now, when it comes to supply, it's the same thing, but flipped upside down. So again, on all of those time frames, what I am looking for is a large red candle in the market. Once I identify that large red candle, I then want to look one candle to the left. That one candle to the left has to be a small green candle. And what we are going to do is we are going to mark that entire zone, and that is going to be our supply zone. But again, ideally, what we are going to watch is a reject of that lower green candle's wick and then the open of that green candle. So again, when we are trading demand, we are looking for price to bounce. When we are trading supply, we are looking for price to reject. And again, this strategy is very simple. Draw the zone, wait for price to trade into it, and watch how price reacts. And especially look for the reaction at the wick of that candle or the open of the body, just because those are the highest probability areas that price is going to react. Now, here's the important part. You need to look for confirmation. I never blindly enter just because price hits a zone. I wait for a candle to confirm the move, usually a strong wick rejection or a strong wick bounce. So if we trade down to a demand area, I'm looking for bullish price action, bullish hammers, dragonfly dojis, long lower wicks, as well as engulfing candles. But then I also want to see an elevation in the volume because that's going to tell me if that demand zone is actually valid. Vice versa for supply. I like to look for bearish hammers, dragonfly dojis, long upper wicks, and bearish engulfing candles. Again, with an elevation in the volume because that's going to tell me if the zone is actually valid. And when volume confirms with the price action at my zone, that is my green light to get into the trade. So now let's talk about risk management because this is where most traders fall apart. You can have the best setup in the world, but without solid risk management, you'll blow up. My rule is simple. Once I get my confirmation candle, my stop loss is right on the opposite side of that confirmation candle. So let me show you some examples. For example, today I went long on this candle right here on NQ because this was the candle that confirmed for me to go long, my stop loss was below the low of this candle. Or for example, say we came down and we bounced off of a demand zone right here. Well, if this is the candle that confirmed for me to get long, my stop loss is below the low of this candle. If I ended up going short because there was a supply zone right here, because this is the candle that confirmed for me to go short, my stop loss would have been above the high of this candle. When we set stop losses based off of confirmation candles, we know exactly how much we are risking on the trade. And then as a result, position sizing is easier, and we know literally how much we are going to lose if the trade goes against us. So again, the confirmation candle, my stop loss is always on the opposite side. Simple structure, clean exits, no guessing. And finally, psychology. Let's be honest, trading is fucking hard. And it's not strategy that's the real challenge, it's the mental game. You will make every mistake when trading. Revenge trading, over leveraging, FOMO. The key isn't to avoid them, it's to catch yourself in the act and understand why it happened. And then it's up to you to actually fix it. Every mistake is a lesson, if you're willing to own it. This book right here, The Mental Game of Trading, completely transformed the way that I think about trading and my overall emotions. So I would highly recommend getting The Mental Game of Trading, written by Jared Tendler, because I can guarantee you that book is going to change the way that you trade forever. So here's the bottom line. I master trading by simplifying clean strategy, strict confirmation, and tight risk management. I live trade this system every day. And it works not because it's perfect, but because I've committed to it. And if this video did help, make sure to smash that like button as well as clicking that subscribe and that bell icon. It would mean the absolute world to me. And make sure to check out my live streams where I put this strategy to the test every single day.